want to kill me. It's not just a tabloid. It's not just some story. You are making me scared.
I need you to drive me in the boat. Drive the boat to the shore. Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me.
The truth is, that is the only thing I want to talk about tonight. Welcome back to the Friday Nightcap. That was a clip from the new Netflix documentary, Harry and Meghan, though a lot of people are saying it's not exactly a documentary. And of course, the other clip was from the season finale, which I'm already missing, of the award-winning show White Lotus. What the two shows have in common is wealthy and incredibly privileged people who don't necessarily grasp the impact they have on the people around them. And since we all this week cannot stop talking about both shows, here we are. Matt, I start with you on the Royals.
Well, you know, I as a fan of the voice of the folks in the Crown, I can't help but think every time I watch this documentary that I watch it all through the voice and the lens of King Charles. And as a member of the royal family, I'm utterly shocked and frankly disappointed in my son and his wife. But anyways, I wish them the best. I don't know what else to say about it, Franks.
What's your take on
do?
What's your take on this, Kate?
I have a mixed take, to be honest. Okay, like I know. By the way, I'm only on episode 3. I haven't finished, but I know the highlights of the rest. So my mixed take is, in the beginning, I thought they are exceptionally privileged people, right? I mean, I know you don't choose what family you get born into, but once you're born into the royal family, no one's ever going to say no to you. You want to go on a ski vacation, doors open. You want to go here, do it. You want to, anything you want, right? So I found myself feeling a little like they're being whiny in the first couple episodes when they were complaining about how hard their life is. Really? But then the clip you just showed, when it got into sort of the deeper, you know, what Meghan was going through, and certainly, you know, the comment we just showed where she says that she was tortured and thinking about ending her own life. I mean, that was
next level.
Absolutely next level. And so then I thought I was being a little too critical.
I think similar to Kate, the thing that stuck out at me the most was probably just the overarching sense of privilege. And it's not something that we're familiar with as Americans because we don't experience governments in the same way. And I understand that they're not actually governors, they're figureheads. But I think just the presence of royals in general for me was somewhat fascinating, but the documentary didn't show me much different than what we already knew. That's the other thing. There wasn't much that I was surprised about.
It's not really a documentary as much as it is like a super glamorous home movie that they curated for us.
The one thing that I will say is I always think it's interesting that because we're Americans, we get a really bad rap around racism and anti-blackness in the forms that we see it. Almost as if other countries are inoculated from it. And this documentary sort of reminds people, no, you have your issues too. You have your things that you have to deal with. So watching Meghan and her journey there and being reminded of that, I don't want to say as an American there was any sense of vindication. It was just more so for anyone who was seeing it, these are global phenomenon that people are dealing with everywhere. That was a reminder.
All right, White Lotus.
Well, they should have done the Harry and Meghan doc at a White Lotus. That's the mistake. It would have distracted us all if they had been like freaking out on a boat with Jennifer Coolidge somewhere.
I would have loved that. Why are we obsessed? I am upset. I'm in depression that it's over. There's an unlimited amount of content right now, right? It's rare that people are sitting down saying, I have to be home at 9 o'clock on Sunday for this. What is it about White Lotus?
Well, I think that the creators of that show have an incredible talent for character and character development and creating these people who you may somewhat despise or find repellent, but are also extremely compelling. And also there's a lot of subtle critique woven in there. Now, I very controversially preferred season 1 of this show because I really liked the much more capitalist, you know, like anti-capitalist approach and how it was really about inequality and it was like subtly Marxist. I thought that was really entertaining and interesting. This one was more about gender dynamics and more men mostly behaving very badly. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not happy with the way it ended for a lot of those men. Many of them walked away unscathed. That really bothered me.
Not the guys on the yacht.
Not the gays. Not the gays on the yacht. Yeah,
they were full-on criminals.
Oh, God.
Have you studied? Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, these gays are trying to murder me. Oh, God.
Oh, come on. My penis was never beautiful. It's not like it's a sunset. I can't stop doing him. He's my favorite character. Come on. You know who I'm talking about. What
The
even is
grandfather.
Marxism? I know. And then Albie's always blinking. She's like, I feel like a young woman should never have to see an old man's junk. So I don't. So
True
yeah.
statement.
But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm just upset that she's gone. You know, I can't. Now I'm upset. I don't know what I'm going to do in the third season.
Right,
No
she can't
Coolidge.
come
I'm not
back.
sure how I'm going to survive. Honestly.
What do you think it is about the show that
I-
America became obsessed?
I think part of it is that it came out in the pandemic, and it's so escapist. This amazing hotel in another country, and we're seeing how beautiful everything is, and also the story too. Like you said, Mike White, the writing, the characters are just absolutely genius. But I feel like the escapism of it too. And you're just hanging on every thread, wondering what's going to happen next. I like how it started that way in the first season, where you don't know who it's going to be. It's pretty brilliant, I think.
But does it also not expose, also not that dissimilar to what we're watching with Harry and Meghan? Every day we're covering in the news the struggles people deal with in their lives. And this is sort of like the most elite you could imagine with just the worst possible, most reprehensible behavior.
Look at Cameron and I forget the wife character's name.
Fahey, yeah.
Daphne.
I mean, come on, those guys. Like, you just from the first episode.
We all know those guys.
You're rooting
We all
against
know
them.
them.
but we know them.
Yes.
That's a guy who would have invested in Sam Bankman-Fried's company, right there. By the way.
By the way,
For sure.
I mean, were there any people of color at the resort at all? I can't.
It's called the White Lotus.
Called
after all. They put the white in the White Lotus.
I'm going to guess not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe the next season it could be.
What does all of this say, though, about the fact that we're drawn to a show like this, where almost every character treats one another horribly, deceives one another, lies to one another, and steals?
I don't want to make an assumption, but it could also be, I don't want to also tie it all back to Trump, but I feel like in the Trump era, shows like Succession have been popular, Billions, where we're just seeing these characters who are so completely unlikable, doing horrible things, but somehow you find yourself rooting for them. I'm not saying you're rooting for Trump, but I'm saying this is an era of politics in the world right now where everything seems like it's so bad, and it's just cast of characters in real life. Maybe it's kind of reflecting society.
Okay, but then that takes me back to Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
I feel like every person watching either loves them or despises them.
Yeah, no, I think that what happens is you look at your life and you look at the lives of the people around you and what you're experiencing, and you kind of sort of want to see people who are at a higher level humbled. You want to see their problems. You're interested in that.
I want her elevated
Right.
forever.
But you're interested in that because it's kind of like a check on the extremely privileged, on the extremely powerful to say, you might have tons more money than I do. You might have tons more privilege and more opportunity, but you can't escape the train wreck that all of us have to deal with respect to the everyday problems of life.
Just because, Kate?
Oh, I was just gonna say that was what was so great about Jennifer Coolidge's character, I think, in both seasons, was that she had everything, she had all the money, and yet she was deeply unhappy, and sort of, you could sort of relate on some level.
Money doesn't buy you happiness.
There you go.
But it might buy you a really luxurious vacation in Hawaii, or this season, Italy. Or if you're Harry and Meghan, Montecito, California.
Right.
All right, we are going to leave it there. Kate Snow, Charles Coleman, Sheila Kolhatkar, Matt Friend, who I am now... You have to give us your favorite impression,
Well,
quickly.
first of all, as a very famous British person, John Oliver here, and I have to say, who really even gives a shit about Harry and Meghan? Apologies for swearing, but don't we have better things to talk about? I mean, this is absurd. Thank you very much.
Apology accepted.